quiet seaside town, an evil laid to rest centuries ago, has risen. An abandoned fortress deep in the swamp holds a secret that could save the village or destroy it. Now, a band of adventurers sets out to dig up the wounds of the past and bring the light of day to the roots of ruin. This is Tabletop Gold.
Hello, friends, and welcome to Tabletop Gold, The Roots of Ruin, episode 135. Welcome to the show. We're going to have a great time. My name is Lars, Casteen. I'm the Golden Tyrant, and I'm joined tonight, as ever, by David, the Tin Man Chernicoff.
Good that time, Lars and friends.
Robin Lange.
Good your time.
Zoe Chernicoff.
Good our time.
And
Ooh, I like
our Matt Humphreys.
Good all time, y'all.
Oh,
A number of great times addressed tonight. We've got an interesting game tonight. We're still fighting Yagi, and we'll get into that later, please.
we may never stop.
We may never stop. But before we get into
I'm
that,
okay with that.
we took a break in recording. We haven't recorded all together for a couple of weeks. In the intervening time was Christmas, New Year's, like a long break there. And I wanted to talk about a movie that I know at least 3 of us saw and that I think is germane to at least 4 or 5 of our interests. That is the film Wonka, starring Timothée Chalamet as the chocolatier who got it all, Mr. Willy Wonka.
Mr. Willy Wonka.
Zoe, you brought up this as a conversation topic in a very specific way, and I'd like to tee you up to share that, please.
I would, and I cannot take credit for the coinage, although I delight in it. My topic idea, sometimes we share these beforehand, just to really pull back the curtain here, was the Humpa Loompa.
Humpa Loompa? What does that mean? What are you talking about?
If you haven't seen the film, for those of you familiar with either the Gene Wilder or the Johnny Depp movies or the classic Roald Dahl book, there are these little orange Oompa Loompas who assist Willy Wonka in the making of candy and chocolate in his factory. In this origin story, which we will discuss in great detail and with full literary analysis,
Okay.
there's one Oompa Loompa, and they have chosen to have that Oompa Loompa played by famous actor Hugh Grant. And they have made him tiny and orange. And so, obviously, he needs to be called the Oompa Loompa.
We talk about Hugh Grant so much between the 5 of us that I nearly just said friend of the show Hugh Grant. Like,
That's fine.
he comes
God,
up
I would
so
Be
often.
so stoked about that.
I would. So Lars,
Yes.
has our first film debuff dropped for our Patreon listeners yet?
It has not. No.
Oh, Patreon listeners, look forward.
Just
to
kidding.
Another
It came out
discussion.
last week.
Oh,
It came out last week.
I never know how it all works with our timing.
I know, it's confusing.
But yeah, we had a whole, me and our Matt had a whole discussion about Hugh Grant and how fabulous he is and our love for Hugh Grant.
We love him.
Yeah. 2 thumbs up to Hugh Grant.
2 thumbs up, 2 tiny little orange thumbs up to Hugh Grant. Zoe, how did you feel about Hugh Grant as the Humpa Loompa in this movie?
I felt much better than I thought I would.
You went in with negative feelings. You went in thinking that this would be a disappointing situation.
Yes, I did.
Really?
I did. Oompa Loompa, let's be honest, a little bit of a loaded character. Like, as it's written in the book, it's a little bit problematic. There's
It's
some
trouble.
colonialist issues. Interesting in a prequel where you might not even need to resurrect this character or species of people, like that they chose to do it, that they chose to have sort of a famous actor do it, who is not himself a person of diminished stature. Like, it was a choice, right? In like today's world, it was a choice. And I was deeply skeptical of the whole movie at the outset, and we can get into whether, that held up or not. I'm not a big fan of like prequels. I don't love the Johnny Depp one. The book is such a classic.
What? You don't love the Johnny Depp 2005 Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Right, everyone's
one of the
favorite
most
version.
Everyone loves that thing.
Loves it.
Everyone's singing those songs. Everyone remembers all those songs and is always like, I can't evoke them.
Right. Well, you've sung them so many times that
I don't want to get. I can sing them so accurately. I don't want to get like content struck off of YouTube.
Songs in the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah, there sure are.
Yeah. Wow,
written by Danny Elfman. Yeah.
So anyways, I went in skeptical, and I have to say, bless him, national treasure, Hugh Grant.
International treasure?
It works because he is, like, the Oompa Loompa himself, the Oompa Loompa, is quite sarcastic. And so the fact that I'm not sure Hugh Grant was totally committed to this role sort of works for the role itself.
Yeah.
Oh, right. So I'll just make the chocolate, shall I?
Yeah, basically.
In interviews, he has said that he detested the experience of making this movie.
And that he only did it because he has a lot of children and needs money for them.
Right. Which is like what an endearing way of saying that you phoned a performance in. Like I'm back on your side. I'm like, dude's got a lot of kids. Like, what are you gonna do?
I have a friend.
I love that.
Whose husband works in special effects, and he worked on that movie, and I believe he detested working on that film as well.
Oh, interesting.
Really? Intriguing.
I can give no other information about that. Names and nothing like that. All I can say is from the inside, it didn't seem like a really fun movie to make.
Which is funny because it's beautiful. Like it's quite a charming film.
Height of COVID, and Timothée Chalamet was being peak Timothée Chalamet.
Timothée Chalamet.
I want to know what that means, but I also don't want to get us. I also don't want to say things that we're going to get in trouble for.
Right. We don't want the Chalamet hive coming after us.
Yeah, we don't want the Shay hive.
The Shay hive.
Wait, that doesn't even make sense. It would be
the Chalamet hive. It works.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. I want to say something about this movie. I saw it also. I took my 4-year-old son to see this movie, and he enjoyed it. Now I enjoyed it as well. This movie is directed by Paul King, who directed Paddington and Paddington 2, which are movies, Paddington 2 especially, that I love. It's like almost a cliche to say that you love that movie. I don't care. I love it. I think it's phenomenal.
We had not seen either of the Paddingtons. Oh, I got balloons. That's fun. Until Christmas break, when so many people had recommended them. I'm deeply skeptical of remakes of children's classics. And so I'm always sad that they're going to ruin it. But no, they're delightful. And that was what led me to be like, okay, I've written off Wonka, but let's do it. And anyways, just same is what I'm saying. Ditto.
Yeah. Great, lovely movies. Wonka, I think, has a lot of the positive traits that those two movies have. But doing more research, I realized, and this is like pertinent to Tabletop Gold lore, if you're this sort of listener who pays very close attention to the idiotic opinions that I spout off constantly. Paul King was the director on The Mighty Boosh. And I, in like episode 3, said, I hate The Mighty Boosh. I was like, I don't like that show. I don't like the whole thing. I don't like those dudes. I don't like any part of it. And I liked Wonka so much because at times, that movie, if you're a Mighty Boosh fan, I think you should see Wonka because there are stretches of that movie that are like strange and surreal and whimsical and like stream of conscious and visually stunning and just like really cool in a way that is basically like you're watching a long form Mighty Boosh movie. Like, I think that's the main thing that, like, that movie to me feels more like a Mighty Boosh thing than like a Willy Wonka thing. And it made me reevaluate my like negative feelings about the Mighty Boosh. And I think it's possible that I don't dislike the Mighty Boosh. I just kind of dislike the guy that I heard of the Mighty Boosh from and resented his positive opinions about it because I'm just sort of like, my hams are a little bit steamed about this one dude.
This is big.
Lars, do you feel like
for you?
Do you feel like you need to start reevaluating all British TV that you say you hate?
I think it's time for us to give England a chance. In 2024,
Wow,
let's
this is the year.
give England one more try. Sure, they screwed it up over and over again throughout the course of the 20th century, 19th, 18th, 17th. Before and earlier, like England obviously has a dance card full of atrocities that, but maybe it's time to just give them one more shot.
Lars, I'm coming over. We're getting on my HBO Max,
God.
and we are going to start watching Doctor Who.
Oh no! Why did you have to say that?
Yeah, that's the place to start.
Gotta start with Rose.
Well, look, if you're gonna give it one more chance, that
Yes.
one chance might as well be 145 seasons.
No. We start with the newer ones from the early 2000s. Start
Do
with
we want
Rose.
to start with
You-
Christopher
sorry.
Eccleston?
You are
Rose
right.
is so good. I love that episode.
145 series. I apologize.
That's a good point.
I mean, that-
Yeah, and each series is only like 6 episodes, so that's barely 950-ish episodes that we have to do.
Hardly
Exactly.
any.
Very
A
achievable.
pittance.
It's like a weekend's worth of green lights at Netflix.
You're alienating listeners again, Lars.
No, I'm not. Everyone loves this. Don't say that, Robin. But yeah, I really liked Wonka. I thought it was a cool movie. I thought it was really fun and funny and enjoyable. And I think that it's like here's my final bet on Wonka, and then I'll let somebody else shut the door on this topic, the Oompa Loompa in particular. I think this movie is going to become a cult hit. I think that people are going to figure out that you can do drugs and then watch it and probably enjoy it.
Now, that's funny that you mention that, because you say that, and you also, in this same conversation, mentioned the 2005 Johnny Depp, Charlie and the Chocolate Factory remake.
Yeah.
And the reason why those two things are connected in my mind, I don't recall.
Oh, okay. I have to read between the lines on that one, I think. Maybe. I don't know.
Oh, no, there's no subtext here.
No substances, no subtext.
Zoe, can you give Oompa Loompa a grade, please, from A to F, and then we'll move on.
Just the Oompa Loompa?
Yeah, just the Oompa Loompa.
A minus.
A minus.
A-
Fantastic.
Wow.
Yeah. A
That's
minus,
pretty
B plus,
good.
A minus. Yeah, that feels.
Yeah.
That feels.
It would be a B plus if I hadn't been expecting it to be a C minus, and so he gets a boost for surprising me.
No, okay.
And like maybe a little roundup for the candor. You know, it's nice,
Yeah.
but I appreciate his just saying,
I always
like,
love to hear that somebody hated
this-
doing a thing.
this wasn't my favorite.
He's just taken a page out of Michael Caine's book. Michael Caine absolutely will like comment when he makes a clunker and says like, "Listen, I've got mortgages to pay."
Yeah.
Look, that man gave us Muppet Christmas Carol. I don't care what he has to say. He can do no wrong.
Right.
I think the Michael
International
Caine quote
treasure.
about Jaws 3 is, I don't remember making Jaws 3, but I do remember the boat that I bought with that money. I think that's the Michael Caine quote.
That's awesome.
Perfect.
Ah, phenomenal. Great stuff.
So stay off our backs, Cane Hive. We're
That's
fine.
right. Caine Hive. Let's move on. Hey, it's episode 135. We're breaking off a new 5. That means it's time for us to promote some stuff. Here's what's going on lately. This is the news. The news is the Patreon. We've got some great shows coming out on our Patreon. If you're a fan of this show, you're going to want to check all this stuff out. You can find it at tabletopgold.com, click the button for Patreon, or just go to patreon.com/tabletopgold. Here's what's been going on lately on the Patreon. We've got episodes of The Gold Mine, the Tabletop Gold companion show. They're dropping every other week with commentary, behind-the-scenes stories, and GM and player advice about the newest episodes of this very podcast. There's an episode coming out this Wednesday covering this show that you're listening to right now. We also recently put out a special edition of The Gold Mine where David and I talk about the Pathfinder 2nd Edition remaster project and how we planned to incorporate its changes into our show that we recorded right when those books were coming out. So check that out if that is a topic that you're interested in. We got specials also coming out all the time. These are spoiler-free shows that feature no information about this podcast that are perfect for you, even if you aren't caught up. This is what we put out lately. An episode of the Tier List Show, making dumb tier lists that everyone else is afraid to make. Most recent episode, we rated various polyhedral dice. We've got an episode of Film Debuff that came out last week, our movie commentary show. That's us talking about 2023's Dungeons & Dragons, Honor Among Thieves. And we figure out if the filmmakers get it when it comes to tabletop role-playing games. That's a really fun conversation as well. That's it.
Fun one.
Patreon's super simple. $5 gets you audio, $10 gets you video. And if you want to support us even more than that, we've got tiers going all the way up. And also, if you'd like to, join our Discord. You can hang out there and you can submit hero point cards. We've got a great community. And we also got special premium channels there for our Patreon patrons as well. And that's what's happening in our neck of the woods. Is that a good thing to say?
I like that catchphrase.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And that's our
It's fine.
show.
All right, let's get into it. Let's play our game. You're still fighting a Yagian.
Yeah.
Okay, let's get into it.
No, I think that's the perfect summary of where we are. Let's just
Yeah, no, that's the whole
Yeah.
recap. I have no more recap beyond
Still
that. That's the whole
fighting.
thing.
This skeletal dragon thing.
it's still happening.
It is still awesome.
I want to say something. I looked at our chat. You know, it's like the VTT that we use. It has chat reaching back, and you can see how long ago it is. We mentioned that we recorded. We took like a break between episodes. Because of that, according to our chat log, we have been fighting a Yagian for the past 24 days.
That's how it felt.
That's how it feels. Yep.
That is how it felt. Did you
Show
like
me the
tally
lie.
up all of the misses and failures and like the flat checks we missed, the swings and misses? We all are just
Yeah, I looked at the thing and I went on a journey for sure. Okay, here's what's going on. Everyone's been super cold. The dice rolls have been bad. Which is making this fight turn into a bit of a chewy steak. Everyone's having trouble getting their stuff in. The physical resistance that a Yagian has, and that all devils have, if you don't mind me giving you some meta game knowledge, is proving to be a problem for this very physical damage-oriented party. And I think it's been particularly rough on Ao. Ao is having a lot of trouble getting past that physical resistance without a silver weapon. So that's sort of part of the big story of this encounter. And I just want to say this. I don't know if this is helpful. I think this is more for the listener than for you guys, but like anything else with physical resistance, a critical hit is better than two regular hits. So we're kind of in a place as you're trying to close this fight out where it's like maybe worth asking how to make that happen. Whether it's using attack rolls to aid allies, maybe it's about mixing up other kinds of buffs or debuffs. I don't really know. A
Cheating
big part of
on how we roll the die.
that's definitely something. I know that a big part of this is that everyone's rolling poorly, but maybe there's something you can come up with to get crits rolling or not. I don't really know. I'm going to give you the most recent thing that happened. It was a Yagian's turn. She stood up. She snapped at Mag and did some damage, and then she tried to knock you over with her tail. Mag and Isthin are on the ground, and Mag and Ao are both down to about 50% of their hit points. A Yagian, you may remember, is a huge skeletal scorpion with glowing red eyes and these bat wings. And she's sort of smirking and going like, okay. As Mag's turn begins. You're in a dank, glowing red prison run by devils. You're in a wide hallway in front of a huge red door with a glowing red pentagram on it. You're on the floor, prone. What are you going to do?
Well, stand up, I think. For starters. Now that's an interesting question. Can you trip something from the ground? Like,
sure
I don't
can.
actually want to do that, but you can just sweep the leg.
Yeah, you can sweep the leg, you can attack, you can do whatever you want to. It's just that the prone condition imposes like a -2 circumstance penalty onto any attacks, and tripping is an attack.
Interesting. All right. Well, I'm still raging. If I recall correctly, I had put away the Earthbreaker in favor of holding the silver hatchet.
That's right. And you've noticed that a Yagian's eyes are tracking that silver hatchet as it moves around the room.
Well, thank you for the reminder. Because that gives me an idea for my second action, which is to move to Iagian's opposite side in hopes of drawing her attention. The westernmost wall of the room is the glowing pentagram wall. So there's some space between her and it, correct?
Definitely. You could squeeze your back up against that door and still have enough room to maneuver and attack from there.
Okay. And then with my third action, I will miss another strike. Okay, we're back. There's a 34 to hit.
That is 1 away from being a crit.
Ooh.
So Mag swings the hatchet forward and catches Iagian on the arm.
And right, it looks like, did Trill's Inspire Courage wear off?
Trill is not currently inspiring Courageous Anthem. She's doing Dirge of Doom, so that one off includes the lowered AC because Iagian is afraid.
Yes, and apologies for the incorrect name. Bao.
Don't we have a drop for that?
I'm not going to do it for just incorrect.
All right, so here is a damage roll. Again, it's from the silver hatchet, so it's not quite as beefy as my damage rolls usually are. It's an all right roll. It's a 15. It looks like 15 damage.
And all 15 of that goes through as you feel the silver hatchet chip into this bone. You slam like fuck straight into the femur of Iagian. And she scowls at you and like clicks her tongue a couple times, just like. And she looks like she's starting to get upset. This is a job for her, but this job has stopped being fun at this point.
All right, and I'm wondering as the turn passes to Isthin, is this having my hoped for effect of drawing any of extra attention from her over to the west? With the rest of the party still standing to the east.
I think absolutely. I mean, anybody who wants to flank her can, and she's been focused on Mag ever since that hatchet came out, but she is doubly focused on Mag, and she whispers to Mag, "I'm going to make an example out of you."
Oh.
And it is now Isthin's turn. Isthin, wielding, if I may let you know, a +1 striking Fiend's Bane Staff of Protection.
Except no substitutes.
Formerly known as Staff of Abjuration. What is Isthin going to do? Isthin's been having a little trouble. He hasn't gotten hit yet, but he hasn't done much damage yet. He is on the floor. What do you think?
So he's going to say, well, I might have something to say about that in response to her comment about punishing Mag. And then first action, he's going to stand. Second action, he is going to strike at Iagian with his staff of protection. Is a 1 on the die going to help us? Wow. Cold dice tonight.
Oh my God!
I think I have a hero point.
You do. I should mention this is 135. We have all new hero points and hero point cards. So you do have a hero point.
Yeah, I'm going to use that hero point because,
okay.
That's what they're for.
Daddy needs a new pair of Fiend's Bane Staffs of Protection.
And Daddy needs a new thing to happen on this show other than just fighting Iagian over and over again. So
29 to hit.
That'll hit, yes.
Awesome. So that is 21, that does not include the 1d12 from Draw the Lightning.
It does not include the 1d12 from Draw the Lightning. That's true. You have a storm cloud up above Iagian's head, ready to strike with additional lightning due to a spell that you cast 24 days ago.
Yes, exactly. And it sticks around for a minute, or 10 minutes?
Or 24 days, whichever comes last.
Exactly. So it's 20. Well, How does a 1 on a D12 sound? This is why I hate D12s. Like,
You should.
go listen
They're
to
terrible.
our tier list show because I have feelings about this, and that feeling is it is very disappointing. So 22 points of damage.
22 points of damage. Some of that gets resisted by a Yagian,
Natch.
but she is looking pretty badly damaged as the Staff of Protection bonks off of the bone. You've got one more action.
Yeah, I was going to recharge my spell strike, but let's just go for it. I'm going to make a map 5 attack again. Because my dice are so hot tonight.
You got the one out of the way.
Well, that's an 18, so a 29.
29 still hits. It hit for your first attack, and it's hitting for your second attack.
I'm liking that. Okay, that's 25 with bludgeoning and arcane cascade damage.
Big turn from Isthin. A Yagian takes
Big
2
turn.
quick strikes, lightning flying all over the place, striking from clouds, surging from Isthin's magical stance. And we are now at the beginning of round 6. Count them, 6 rounds of this fight. And Mag is sandwiched between a Yagian and this enormous red pentagram door. And on the other side of Mag are her remaining friends. First up is Trill. What is Trill going to do?
So, according to Reddit,
Always a good start to a turn.
Yeah.
That's what I like to hear in this fantasy role-playing RPG. Let's talk about what we've read on Reddit.
according
Hell
to
yeah.
Reddit, with
Giddy
the
up.
remaster, and because we're playing with remaster rules and remaster spells,
Yes.
Electric Arc
Yes.
continues to be the strongest cantrip. Now, I had a question though, because I
Thank
read
you. Thank you,
What?
Reddit.
Is it? Let's settle it once and for all.
Thank you. Reddit.
I actually, after also reading a couple posts recently, I have to retrain some stuff that I didn't bother to retrain because I wasn't reading up enough earlier. Cantrip.
Yeah,
Anyway,
you still got some time. I'm still letting people retrain from remaster stuff, so that's fine.
yeah, I got days sucks even harder now. So, anyway, so
Don't take
for
a
Electric Arc,
while.
for some reason,
Yeah, thank you.
I was under the impression from something I saw somewhere that if I target one creature with it, it would hit that creature twice. But I feel like that's wrong.
Yeah, that's wrong.
So it's no matter what. So it's 2 shots if you're targeting 2 creatures. If it's 1 creature, it's just 1 shot.
That's right.
Okay. That was all. That was my only question regarding that. Because I'm going to Electric Arc this motherfucker.
Oh, okay, cool. Let's go.
So let's go ahead and target. And let's pull, if I can find it. This is so annoying. This
While
interface-
Robin's figuring that out, I want to say something. We changed our crit deck about 10 episodes ago. We have stopped using the Paizo crit deck. We haven't rolled a 20 on any attack rolls on either side of any combat since something like episode 122
Been a
when
while.
we made this change. So, like, I just want to say that maybe that'll happen sometime. Robin, how
well,
are things
so
going?
for Electric Arc, so Yagian's got to now do a basic reflex save.
She rolls a 29 on her reflex save as
And
she
she
dodges out of the way of this
passes.
electricity. Okay, so she'll take half damage.
So that's 11 damage.
Okay, so a Yagian's going to take 5 as electricity courses around her bony exterior.
And for Trill's next action, then, Trill's actually going to cast Guidance on Ao. So Ao then has a +1 status bonus to an attack roll, which hopefully will help Ao's next action.
So Trill unleashes some electricity into the room and then puts some magical guidance onto Ao.
You got this, Ao.
Fuck yeah.
It's now Ao's turn.
Bring us home.
Am I allowed to fire chompers right next to someone?
It'll trigger an attack of. It'll trigger a reactive strike if they have such a thing. Because if you're making a ranged attack within somebody's reach, they can seize the advantage and attack you. But other than that, there's no penalty.
And we haven't seen her do a what was it? What's it called again? A reactive strike?
Reactive strike. Yeah, you've been running around her, standing up next to her, doing all kinds of stuff that if she had reactive strike, she would use it.
Okay. Ao, emboldened by Trill's cheering on, strides purposefully up to be flanking Yagian, across from Mag, and still holding chompers, just says, "Die already," and fires off 2 quick arrows into her skeletal frame in hopes that...
In another life, I really feel like Yagian and Ao could have been friends.
No, there was a chance.
She blew it.
It's just a shame.
Yagian
to
blew it.
have encountered each other in this way.
That's a 31 to hit.
And with that guidance, that's a 32.
Yes.
Still a hit.
Ooh.
Let's see what happens with this damage as this arrow
Is it doing
notches.
flat-footed damage?
It is, definitely. She's frightened of you, so you get flat-footed.
Well, and I'm flanking her.
Flanking isn't.
Flanking.
It doesn't. Flanking does not help you with the ranged attack.
Oh, well, so I was flanking her just for... It's a flavor flank.
It was a flavor flank. One of my favorite rappers from the '80s, Flavor Flank.
Flavor flank?
And I loved it. You know, I loved it so much. You get one of these.
Hey!
But enough of that. How much damage did you do?
20 damage.
Okay, she's gonna resist a chunk of that, but not enough of a chunk of it to keep her from... The arrow collides with one of her exposed vertebrae, and she pinwheels her wings back and almost in slow motion collapses down onto the ground in front of you in this prison floor. And she looks at Ao and she says,
We could have been best friends.
What's it gonna be? What's it gonna be?
yeah, she negs you. She looks at you and she's like, my mom wears exactly what you're wearing right now. And she just collapses on the ground.
Wow, that's a good neg.
Dead. I have seen negging in my life one time when I was working on a shoot for one of the most repulsive television programs I ever worked on.
Oh, that's got to be an interesting list too.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a TV show where people have to sing karaoke songs. And as they're trying to sing those songs, they're being tortured by like being dipped into like a pool full of pythons and shit like that.
Oh my God.
And it may not surprise you that the people working on this show were not nice people.
Oh, interesting.
And I saw this dude neg somebody, like another person who was working on this show with us. And like I forget exactly what he did. It's like her sister came by and he said to her like, "Oh, is that your daughter?" Like it didn't even make any sense. It was the grossest thing I've ever seen a person say to somebody, just being like, "Oh, nice to meet you. Is this your daughter?" And I knew, and I was so confused. I was like, "They're the same age. How could this happen?" Then I realized later, like this dude was like, he was doing that. He was doing that.
He was playing the game.
He was playing, I think, the proper noun, the game, was like the name of that dude, right?
Yeah.
That was
The
that
first
was the book.
pickup artist guy that like broke through.
Oh, I'm sorry. This was not on the show where people sing karaoke while getting dipped into a vat of pythons. This was
I feel
the show.
so much better because that actually sounded kind of hilarious.
This was the show, less repulsive, where people think they're going in for a haircut and they're actually start doing a game show at the time. They're about getting a haircut and then like a confetti pops out and they're like, "You're on a game show."
But my hair looks terrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, can I get that haircut first? I'm about to be on
Sort
TV.
of like a game show neg there.
I didn't wash my hair today. I'm not wearing any makeup.
If you lose the final round of the game show, they give you a terrible haircut. That was the thing.
That is
So
much. That's like a shitty version of Cash Cab.
Yes, that was the pitch. I think that's why the network bought it.
Fun
So
fact: I was on Cash Cab.
It's true.
I rode the
were you?
Cash Cab. Mhm.
No way.
Nice.
Yeah.
I never know whether to actually believe people when they say that.
Oh, this is interesting. Wait, who thinks I'm telling the truth?
I think you're telling the truth. This is frankly a pathetic lie if you're lying.
I've
Yeah,
had
it's a
people
really weird
say
lie.
this to me and then later go, "Oh yeah, no, I was kidding. I wasn't on Cash Cab." But it's such a
What?
believable thing to say.
Yeah, it would never occur to
I
me
like
to
this
make
person
that up.
slightly more than I like the negging person.
What did they ask you?
Yeah, what
Oh
they ask
wow. I only remember some of the questions. An episode I was on like barely aired because it was right when the show got canceled. So it didn't air on the air date that they gave me, but it eventually did in like syndication. So I've seen it like once, but it was way after it happened. Anyway, they asked a question about the inventor of the coffee filter. They asked a question about Marmot, the performance wear clothing brand. They asked a question
I
about
can't believe you
Oh.
remember this.
the liquor Cuddy Sark.
Okay.
This is why
there were
it's
a
good
couple
you were
more.
on this show and not me.
Good product integration on their part
Yeah.
also.
Yeah, but in hindsight, I think you're probably right. It was me and two other people, and we did well. We didn't go for the double or nothing because we had accrued like a whole bunch of money leading up to then, and the questions had gotten quite hard, and we were pretty sure that we were going to wash out if we pressed our luck. So we just
Disappointed
stayed where we
audiences
were.
everywhere.
Yeah, that's why they canceled that show. All these scaredy cats refusing to play the game.
And that's why you don't tell vignettes from your past.
Oh, come on.
No. Lars, this kind of
That was
like
awesome.
reality
I
show
love knowing
that you're
that.
describing, it feels so
Yeah.
familiar to me. The like, hey,
Yeah.
here's this like ultra contrived thing, and then we're gonna get some like extroverted people in there, and we're all just gonna like put it all in the cocktail shaker and see what happens. Is this like a very like? Have younger people seen this type of show? Like, it feels very dated now.
Yeah, I think it's dated because let's do a little TV minute, friends. I think it's dated because
yes,
like
answer the question I
like
should
stuff-
have asked you, not the one I
Yeah.
did.
But like you're the thing is, I think the reason that show went away, that kind of show went away, is that like if cable TV is what people are subscribing to and they're just flipping around, they're going to stay on the most like sensationalistic shit that there is.
Yes.
Whereas now everybody's on streaming. You have to make the choice to watch like the dirtiest, scummiest thing in the world. It doesn't just happen to you.
we'll
Right.
call
You have
that
to,
Love
like-
is Blind. I don't know.
Right. Well, I think that dating shows that do that stuff still go, right? Like like dating shows are still just as repulsive as all of the rest of television was a decade ago. Like
Yeah.
yeah.
Well,
Yeah, it was
anyway.
a bad time. I much prefer doing what we are doing right
Yeah,
now.
I mean, your whole thing is like wanting everyone who is like in your care to have a good time. Like these a reality show where people have to do something hard while something scary is happening to them is
Yeah.
like the absolute opposite of a Lars of like a Lars spirited project. You must have just been totally at odds with the whole. I mean, it's a job, like you do it, but man, that
Yep.
just seems so not your thing.
You know what is, I think,
No.
Lars spirited then in that angle, David?
Yeah,
Would be
please.
Great British Bake Off. Because the hosts are so nice.
Yeah.
Like that's the
right.
thing. It's a challenge. Everyone's like working really hard,
Look,
and the hosts
all
are
he said he
like,
was
each other.
open to England, not that he's like all in.
Well,
Yeah.
no. It's
The Mighty Boosh guy is on it now, though.
I know, Noel. what's
Noel
his face?
Fielding.
We'll
Yeah.
just
Noel
let's let
Fielding.
Lars finish all of Doctor Who first, and then he can watch all. I don't even know how many seasons it is of Bake Off at this point.
But,
Once
like,
you get the holiday specials in there,
when someone
excuse
was
me.
having a rough time.
I'm so sorry. How many series? I apologize.
Thank
to
you.
the
When
United
someone was
Kingdom.
having a rough time of the show, Sue Perkins would stand next to them and curse so that they couldn't use the footage on the BBC.
Oh.
Like, how delightful is that? Like that little
so clutch.
tidbit.
Yes.
I don't know. It sounds weird. Somebody stood next to a guy and just started swearing in order to make them.
When
What
somebody
hap-
was
what are you
having
talking
trouble
about?
and they were like breaking down and crying
Yeah.
in front of the cameras, the hosts would go over and they would stand next to the person and either curse or sing copyrighted material in order to make the footage unusable, so that the person could have their emotional moment
Yeah,
and be
not
sure
be
that they
taken
would not
advantage
end up
of.
on television.
That's pretty rad.
Why did the producers allow this sabotage of their show to happen?
Wow, Lars just swung way back the other
I swung way
I
hard.
just-
Yeah.
that was almost as dramatic a turnaround as your Mighty Boosh thing from before. Are you feeling okay?
No, I'm
He
not.
got a haircut and cut off all of his power.
Yeah.
All of his opinions changed.
Never seen his hair so short.
Okay. I want to tell you the situation here. You're in this oppressive place, right? This is a hallway that you have been in 3 times now, facing the security of these devils running this prison deep, deep, deep underground. You've seen indications that this prison is being used in some cases as a prison. You've met Tsunami, the bounty hunter, who was kept in a cell that didn't look like it had been used as a cell for quite some time. You've seen these stasis chambers on the eastern side of the floor containing these gargantuan, exotic horrors from different planes, different dimensions, different places. But you've also seen an indication that there's like an army being mustered here. You've seen the battle plans of Isan Clear. You've heard about Euravian raising an army here, and you've seen a number of flesh-warped creatures wearing military regalia. This is a place that you are that is like deep, deep, deep behind enemy lines. There's no comfort to be had here, to be sure. This is a rough location. It is dank. It is covered with infernal symbols. It's very, very carefully guarded. You fought stronger and stronger creatures here in this central chamber. And as Iyagian falls to the floor, you can hear that, at least for now, it is quiet. So what will you do next?
So I know that we definitely need to heal, but I'm worried about healing so close to this area that keeps getting repopulated. And that is such a high traffic area.
Ao, who's still in a fit of pique over the Iyagian encounter, is not thinking about that at all and is just picking up the various bones that have fallen on the ground and just throwing them at each other. You know, just such a racket.
Oh, can we like play xylophone on it?
No,
Right.
this is a serious situation, everybody. This isn't like that reality show that I made where people have to play each other's bones like xylophones. Please.
I imagine Ao grab some teeth.
Why isn't
for
that kind of
sure.
show popular anymore?
There are definitely teeth to be had. Iyagian in her jaw has this mandible. They're like 2 tusks
Ooh.
that sort of swing forward, almost like an insectoid, scorpion-like mandible. So as far as teeth go, it is tough to find something bigger than this, but tough to find something more intimidating than this.
Hey, Mag, says Ao, having shoved one of these enormous teeth into like a pocket that it barely fits in. Can you put this one in the bag of holding? She tosses over the other tooth to her.
Oh,
Mag catches it in her free hand and tucks it into the bag of holding while muttering something inaudible about needing to create a new tooth section.
looking at the image of Iyagian, I see Iyagian's got like a scorpion-like tail. Is
Yes.
there any, like, inspecting the body, is that something that has like poison in it that we could use? If only one of us was like an
It definitely
alchemist
has
who could
poison
decant?
in it. The question whether you can use it, let's think. I could see that as a nature check to try to extract a little bit of ocelot venom from this creature.
anyone
But I
got
think it's going to be
nature?
pretty tough.
Would swamp lore help? She doesn't seem swampy. She seems devilly.
Let me rephrase that. Nature, I think, and
Could I use devil lore?
I think devil lore feels like it is right on the money for this. I was going to, sorry, David, to interrupt you. I was going to change away. Swamp lore feels iffy because nature is not the right answer. The right answer was religion, but devil lore sounds good.
Devil lore is right.
Yeah. So Trill try and like save some of it. Do we have?
Oh, hey Mac, do we have any extra vials in the bag of holding?
Mag cheerfully reaches into the bag of holding, and while muttering something inaudible about the Erlenmeyer flask section, pulls out a stoppered vial and gingerly hands it to Trill.
Fabulous.
So I'm going to let Trill make this attempt. It's going to be 10 minutes to make this attempt. And I'm going to put the DC pretty high. But a critical success is going to get you 2 doses of Ocelot Venom, and a regular success is going to get you 1.
Okay, well, let's see how I roll. My devil lore is
good
pretty
thinking.
good. That's not very good roll. Do I bother? I don't feel like that's worth a hero point to reroll it. It was just for fun anyway. It was only an 18.
Okay. That does not do it. Trill manages to find this like sack in the bulbous section at the tail at the end near this barb at the end of Ayagian's tail. And she's able to grab this vial from Mag and start to slice this sack open. But as she does, she realizes that she's cutting the wrong section, and she spoils the venom sac, and it spills on the floor.
Oh, that smells rank.
Is anything else happening during that 10 minutes from Trill?
Ao is healing herself and Mag. I think they're the only 2 with damage, right?
Okay, let's get a healing check. And don't forget that you have assurance in medicine if you want to just auto hit the expert DC.
I do. That is what I want to do.
Oh, so that's what that's for. I have so many hit points, you guys. Like, so many.
How much healing did you do, Zoe?
19 on the first. Does
So,
that get us through the
at the-
10 minutes? Right now we're
That gets you through the 10 minutes. So at the end of that 10 minutes, Ao is finishing up stitching herself and Mag.
gauze everywhere.
Just gauze flying all over the place, wrapped around these enormous bones.
So much gauze.
Trill's making a mess.
Trill slices open this venom sac and spills it on the floor. And I'm gonna roll a die. Don't worry about it. Don't even sweat it.
So I can see it, but it just has question marks, so I don't know what happened.
Don't worry. Don't worry about it.
Something come out
Trying
during
not
these
to
10
worry.
minutes.
And Ao is able to spot that the door immediately to your north sort of creaks open. And you see a Dreshkin on the other side of that door, creaking that door open.
I mean, we had to go that way anyway.
A voice comes from behind the Dreshkin.
Dude, what's going on out there? Ayagian killed them, right? That's her contract, isn't it? She had to kill them.
The voice clearly comes from a Zabub. And Ao is able to look down the hallway and see that, like behind this door, and see that it's the Zabub that you first encountered in that spy outpost on the level above, where you fought the Barbazu. This is the Zabub that managed to escape from you. And it seems as though, as Ao looks around the corner into this long hallway, that this Zabub has gotten a new assignment. This room seems to be a row of prison cells that has been repurposed into a storage area. Around the corner of the store, she can see like crates and barrels and quivers of arrows and so on. And so the creature that opened the door, the creature that's like creaking this door open is a Dreshkin. And as the door opens wider, as this Dreshkin peeks around the corner, now everybody's able to see it. is one of 3 Dreshkins.
Trill called it.
These are 3 flesh-warped Morlocks, these white-skinned, gangly humanoid creatures with bright, bulbous white eyes that have been augmented with a twisted metal skeleton and have electricity coursing around them. And then you hear a moan. You hear, There's a Grothlet with them. Likely the one that you encountered earlier on this floor. The one that you sent to trigger the this red light trap to your south.
I thought that one died.
This
That was
moaning,
Zoe's
mindless...
Grothlet.
This is Zoe's former Grothlet. Slug-like creature. It's positioned between these 3 Dreshkins, a short distance in front of the Zabub, who, now that the door is wide open, you can see is cowering about 20 feet deep into this crate-filled room. And then the Zabub sees you and sees the gauze strewn all over the hallway in front of you. And it starts shouting for these flesh warps, these Dreshkins and this Grothlet to defend her.
Oh, dude! Oh, no, dude! It's them! It's the one that killed Stragaz!
This Zabub looks frightened to you. Looks like it does not want anything to do with you. But the Dreshkins look like they are set to follow their orders from this Zabub. I just want to let you know, this situation that is unfolding right now, you can approach it however you want. But I will say that if you react quickly, you'll likely get a round of blinded Dreshkins unable to deal with the light that you're generating as your bright light washes in their faces. So,
Can I ask 2 quick questions?
what do you think? Please.
Is there any, can I do battle medicine now? Do I have any window to do another quick heal on Mag and myself? Or do I have to wait until...
You can I will absolutely let you do battle medicine before initiative hits if that's something you want to do. And also you can only target one person with it. You don't get the benefit of being able to hit multiple people with it.
Okay.
So
Well, I guess I could also save it, and if one of us is more hurt, use it then.
I'm 40 points down, but I still have 86 hit points because, and I can't emphasize this enough, I have so many.
Just
you
so
guys.
many. Well, I'm probably worse off than you are then, but I'm not terrible. My second question, Lars, is I believe I have a little Grothlet bracelet. What's up with my Grothlet bracelet?
what is up with your Grothlet bracelet?
Doesn't it take like 10 minutes or something to attune?
It doesn't. It does not. That actually was a rules mistake I made. Things in this game do not take 10 minutes to invest. You can just sort of do them. So here's the deal with the Drover's Band. This black leather wrist guard has a bright red gem on the inside of the wrist. I just put the rules for it in our chat. The deal is you can spend 3 actions and try to take over this Grothlet if you would like to.
Cool.
And I'll let you do that also before initiative. But the moment you do that, the moment you finish doing that, initiative's going to kick off. I'm essentially trying to create a situation here where it's like these creatures believed so deeply that Ayagian was going to win this fight that you have a brief moment as they creak the door open to see them and to react. And you can do what you want to do, but I'm going to sort of just give you one thing you can do, basically.
Would I be able to cast a spell before initiative starts?
If you cast a hostile spell, I'm going to have you roll initiative.
Does Fairy Fire count as hostile?
It's so sparkly.
Right, it's just sparkly. I don't think it does, right?
I'm going to say that if what you want to do is cast Fairy Fire, that's a thing you can do. Armet, what were you going to ask?
I was going to ask / posit. Istin has something to help Mag. I've got another casting of Mountain Resilience I could put on her to keep her a
The
little
spell
safe.
formerly known as Stone Skin, Bow Chicka Wow Wow?
Exactly.
Bow chicka
Exactly.
wow wow.
That sting. It's so good.
Yeah, I'll take it. I think Mag. It's tempting to just pre-rage the whole thing, but I think instead I have 1 healing potion. So maybe I'll just waft that little bad boy.
Cool. So let's just start with Mag. Mag, you're going to drink a healing potion.
Yeah.
Okay, let's roll the healing on that. As this door
Are you
opens.
allowed to guzzle 2 at once?
No. You're not even allowed to
want
do
to.
what I'm letting you do right now. This is all we're playing by our own rules here, like Serpico. But I think that guy played by the set rules. But how much healing are you looking at, David?
Looks like 16.
Okay.
Hit points
So
coming back.
Mag quickly guzzles this healing potion. What's Trill doing?
Trill sees a Zabub, and Trill knows Zabubs can very quickly turn invisible. So Trill is going to cast Fairy Fire on that Zabub to keep it in check.
So a soft light covers the Zabub, who goes like,
Oh, what are they doing?
Zabubs are kind of gross, so I'm imagining it's kind of this neon green this time round to kind of
sounds good.
knowing that it's going to be gross and things are going to explode again.
I should maybe articulate for people who are not as Zabub-pilled as I am, that what this Zabub looks like is a baby, the head and torso of a baby with the wings and lower extremities of a fly. It's a small creature buzzing around with like compound eyes like a fly, looking frazzled and terrified of the four of you.
I mean, it's a good name. Like, it very clearly harkens to Beelzebub and Lord of the Flies and all that.
That's right. Sucks
to your mountain.
your mountain
Mind
resilience. So, Armet, you're going to do a mountain resilience on Mag, is the deal?
Yeah, Istin will sort of stride over and mountain resilience. Good old Mag.
And this is what I'm envisioning. All of you are like in almost like a slow motion, like moving, like drinking this thing, casting these spells, running across the room. Zoe, what do you think Ao is going to do in this brief moment?
I think Ao's head whips up as she's, desecrating the bones of this deceased Iagian. And she sees the Grothlet and sort of hears this going on and just instantly locks at it and says, "Come here, pretty," and hits the bracelet to try and see if she can take over the Grothlet. Zoe's Grothlet, Part 2. I exert my will over a mindless creature within 30 feet. If you are mindless of level 3 or more, you have to attempt a DC 20 will save.
I rolled a 15 on the die, a 22.
That's a bummer. We all wanted this to happen. Are you sure you don't want to hero point
really
that? Can I
did.
hero point that?
You can't. You
We
can't. You can't
do
hero
someone
point
else's
it.
roll.
Do we have a hero point card that's like, hey, you do get to take that Grothlet over and have it swing ineffectually at the Dreshkin next to
I'm
it?
checking
No,
the
but
chart
you
right now,
listener-
David.
Come on. Yeah, exactly, Robin.
Oh, but you are slowed for 1 round, so that's something.
So that's something. The Grothlet kind of
really
goes
good.
like, oh, and like its eyes lock on this glowing red band that you're holding out. And it seems confused and distracted, but is not under your control.
Okay.
And with that, the Dreshkins and this devil leap in to action. And it is time to, once again, roll for initiative.
How do we feel about rolling deception, given what I just did?
Okay, I'll take it. Give me a deception initiative roll.
I'm assuming also that since Trill changed her focus from Iagian to the Zabub, that I can't use Devil Lore to roll.
The Zabub is a devil. So,
Oh, so
sure
could
you
I
can.
Awesome. Fabulous. Let's do that thing.
Here's what I like doing. I just like saying yes to people. I just think it's fun to do a game where I say yes all the time.
Lars, could we do this fight with all the creatures singing karaoke the whole time?
Okay. David, how did Mag do on her initiative?
Matt, it's a poor initiative roll for Mag. It's only a 15. I suspect that grabbing the potion and actually drinking the whole thing is relatively time consuming compared to some of these other things. So I think Mag
Yeah.
is just still dropping the bottle to the ground while everything flies into motion.
That makes sense. Robin, how did Trill do on this devil lore initiative?
My dice are still cold. I only rolled like a 5 or 6. So I ended up with 23.
A little quicker than Mag, but still not as quick as you want to be. Zoe, how did Ao do?
Ao, I guess this whole Grothlet mind game thing has her raring to go. That was a 32 for her.
Nice.
Yeah, that's fast. Ao sees that the manipulation of the Grothlet failed and is ready to go basically immediately. And Armat, how did Isthan do?
I think the fall, getting tripped by Iagian, he must have hit his head or something, because he got a 3 on the die for a 14.
But you're still able to get this mountain resilience on Mag. Her skin turns into the texture of a mountain face. Mountain resilience, of course, the new stone skin. Last time stone skin was a lifesaver, I think literally, for Mag. And as we kick off this combat, it is now Ao's turn. Ao, poised in the hallway, Drover's band glowing red as she looks into this room that seems like it's a cell block that has been turned into storage. It's filled with crates and barrels and like containers containing quivers of arrows and things like that. Like it's a holding area for army supplies. You see a Dreshkin, a Grothlet, 2 more Dreshkins, and then a Zabub flapping around in that hallway. What is Ao going to do?
Well, obviously the strategically smart thing to do here would be to take advantage of going early to get some flat-footed damage, but it was a stubborn lady, and she wants what she wants. So
Okay.
she just, I don't know about any of you who have dogs, but our dog, when she's very focused on something, her head tilts to the side. So her head tilts just a notch further, and her like golden eyes now glowing a little lock with the Grothlet. And she's like, maybe you didn't hear me. I said, come here. And she reactivates the bracelet.
Okay, 3 more actions trying to get this Grothlet under your control. I'm going to make another will save against the DC of this item. Let's see if I do any worse. This time I rolled a 12 on the die for a 19. And what was your DC? 20?
20. That's right. It's
Okay.
a 20.
That means this Grothlet is now controlled by you for 1
Nice.
hour. Congratulations. You've got
You bought a Grothlet. Well, I think that was worth it.
this Grothlet is slow though, so
That's right. It's
That's too
only
bad.
for a round.
only for a round, it's true. And with that, it is now the Zabub's turn. The Zabub doesn't recognize this spell that Trill cast on it, so it's going to spend an action to try to recall knowledge about that. The only skill it has that's relevant here is religion. I think that Fairy Fire is like on the... I'm just going to let it do this. It's going to make a religion check to try to recognize this spell.
You're saying yes to yourself. I love it.
I am. Everyone wins. Okay, that's a 16 to identify the spell. I think that's not going to do it. I think it probably has to beat your spell DC to... it doesn't know what the spell is. So it says,
Oh, no, dude.
and it tries to turn invisible and does not turn invisible because it is under your Fairy Fire. So it is now concealed as it disappears from sight, but this little bit of green neon light covers it, leaving it concealed now instead of hidden. It is now a Dreshkin's turn. This Dreshkin is blinded by all of your light. So it is going to get up on all fours and pop a minigun of teeth out of its face to try to blast all of you with its needle spray. It can't see. It is panicking. And that means that the only creatures it is going to hit are the Grothlet that Ao has control over, the Dreshkin that tried to open that door, and then Isthin and Trill. So I need everyone on that list to please make a reflex save. Let's start with this Dreshkin that is getting blasted by its friend. It rolled a 28 as it tries to dodge out of the way of this needle spray. That's a success, so it's going to take half damage. The damage that is coming out from this needle spray is 14, a mix of piercing and electricity. So this Dreshkin is going to take some of that, not all of it, because it is immune to electricity damage. And Grothlet. Zoe, how did your Grothlet do?
My Grothlet, I think, did okay for a Grothlet. 18?
Okay for a Grothlet, but still a failure. It's going to take all 14 points of damage
Boo.
as these electrified needles pierce it.
Ah! It says.
Wow, that got really loud.
Oh,
Yeah.
oh boy.
Well, how do you feel when you get pierced with 1,000 teeth-like needles from a mouth gun?
I don't feel great. Tell you that much.
I would like acupuncture an awful lot less if it was from a mouth gun.
That's true.
Yeah. And as bad as that feels, Isthin's feeling even worse because he got a natural 1 on that. So I believe that means he takes double damage, if I'm not mistaken.
28 points. Isthin tries to dodge out of the way, slips, and falls into a barrage of needles flying right at his face. And how did Trill do on...
Trill did fine. Trill got a 27.
Okay, so that's a success. Trill manages to duck behind Isthin, who takes nearly all of the needles intended for Trill, only takes 7 points of damage. Okay.
I'm sort of imagining the moment in Platoon when Willem Dafoe is like running to the chopper and he's just like, "Ah."
It's definitely that, but it's also like it just targeted its friends as well. So the Zabub calls out, this invisible Zabub calls out,
No, dude, what are you doing?
and with that, it is now Trill's turn.
I'm trying to remember from Dreshkins. Dreshkins are not immune to fear and mental stuff, or are they? I know we've actually learned this. So I need a refresher.
Or we've been told things that were lies.
Well, that's the problem with mental effects in Lars.
Wow. Shots.
So here's the thing I'm going to tell you. Dreshkins, I'm changing the rules on Dreshkins because I think they don't really make a ton of sense. The only immunity that you know of from Dreshkins is that they're immune to electricity.
Right.
That's it.
Okay. And I do remember I've cast Dirge of Doom on them successfully before. It was the Mulven Tox that didn't take it. Something like that.
Correct.
Okay, so Trill's going to start off, I think, with Dirge of Doom. How wide is that range again? Can I get all of them in there?
30 feet.
Okay, so I'll move forward one then. And then she's going to use her Versatile Performance to... Wait, no, not Versatile Performance. That's to if I wanted to demoralize, but this other thing is much more. Lingering Fortissimo.
Oh.
Lingering Fortissimo. Oh, yeah, that's the
saying,
name of the
it's,
macro now.
That's the thing
Yeah.
in...
They changed it.
Yeah.
I like it.
So now, with her Lingering Fortissimo, Trill's going to cast Dirge of Doom. And let's see how successful that is. And yet again, it was private. If you could just tell me what I rolled.
Sure, you rolled a 28.
Great.
It's a success.
That's success. Yay.
Yeah.
Fabulous. So everyone's going to be down 1 on their AC. Is that it?
And all other things, yes.
Fabulous. Okay.
You'll
And
love
they're
it.
all flat-footed now to AO as well, which is really
You're
what
welcome.
you want.
Yeah.
Okay. So that was 1 action move, 1 action.
Sorry, off guard, not flat-footed.
Yes, off guard. We got
Bow
it. That
chicka
was a
wow
hard
wow.
one to remember.
Bow
I think we
chicka wow
did the
wow.
hardest. 3rd action. Hey, guidance is a cantrip. That's pretty cool.
It is cool.
How often can I use that?
You can use it whenever you want to, but people become immune to it after you use it.
That's what I was thinking. Yeah. So I couldn't use it on AO, but I could use it on Mag right now. That feels like a nice way to start the game.
Poor Isthin seems like he could use some guidance.
Yeah, maybe she'll give it to Istin, actually.
He's made a lot of mistakes.
So
right
I think
off
for
the bat.
Trill's final action, because it's a 1 action thing, Trill's going to go ahead and cast guidance on Istin.
Thank you. That's
And
exciting.
that be Trill's actions.
Trill steps forward, sings a scary song, and blesses Isthin with some guidance. The Dreshkin that's in the middle of the hallway was not hit in that cone, and so it blind thinks, I'm going to do exactly the same thing. So it's like, this is what we're doing. We're just doing needle blast. So it panics as well and unleashes a needle spray of its own down the hallway
Like
again,
Virginia Woolf
hitting the
foretold.
same. This time, being able to hit all of 4 of you, Ao's Grothlet, and also the Dreshkin at the door. So here is how much damage it's rolling. It is rolling 12 points of damage, and I need everybody that I just listed to please make this reflex save. So I'll start off with this Dreshkin. This Dreshkin manages to dodge mostly out of the way, and it takes half of that damage, half of those 12 points of damage. So it's going to take 6 points of damage. And how have the rest of you done on this? Starting with Trill.
Trill got a 25. Not as good as last time, but hopefully still good enough.
Good enough to take half damage, so 6 points of piercing and electricity damage. How did Isthin do?
Much better than last time. He got a 31.
31, critical success due to the heavy armor that you're wearing. The bulwark trait makes it so you take 0 damage. David, how did Mag do on this as needles fly at you? And a spray of electrified needles spreads across the hallway.
You know, I wasn't feeling like my 17 was that big a deal until you narrated it, and now I'm really, it's too bad.
So that 17 is a failure. You'll take all 12 points of damage. Zoe, how did your Grothlet do?
The Grothlet did 21.
Okay, so it's going to take half damage as well, 6 points. And Zoe, how did Ao do?
Ao is at the top of her game for the moment and did a 31.
Okay, that's a critical success. So that is 0 damage. So these needles spray across the room. Some of you take some damage. Nobody gets hit too badly. The Dreshkin that just fired at you reverts. This minigun-like appendage retracts back into its mouth as the Dreshkin that opened the door leaps into action. What they're going to do is shout, "Nyang, nyang, bonabo."
There's no call for that language.
They're going to rush towards Trill and let loose with their claw. They reach a claw forward, slice forward at Trill with a 21 to hit.
Oh, that, I believe, misses.
Oh, and I needed to make a flat check anyway because I'm blind. So I would have missed probably regardless, but let's get one more swing at Trill as it is just swinging blindly at you as its eyes adjust to your bright light. Let's get that one more time. This time it is a 11 to hit.
That definitely misses.
Okay. At this point, all of these Dreshkins are now dazzled rather than blinded. And that's not great. I don't think anybody likes that.
I mean, I'm okay with it.
Okay. Well, one of you likes it.
Right, because dazzled still means they're like rolling at a deficit, right?
Yeah, it means that they're rolling at a deficit and also that it is easier for Ao to become hidden from them if they want to, because you can hide from somebody if you're concealed from them, and anybody that is dazzled, everybody is concealed from them, basically. So with that, the Dreshkin rushes forward, attacks Trill twice, and it is now Zoe's Grothlet's turn. Zoe, what's your Grothlet going to do?
My Grothlet's going to get 2 actions, correct? On account of having
Because it's slowed.
slowed it.
Yep.
So, first is going to turn and look up the hallway at the 2 Dreshkins and the Zabub up there. And it's just going to spew. It's going to spew everywhere. I think it can't actually reach the Zebub much as it might like, but it's just going to throw up all the way up the hallway as far as it can. So the Dreshkin on the, what is that? The west, the northwest Dreshkin.
Sure.
Nancy. Blah! And that is a 17 to hit Nancy.
That 17 is not going to hit. The spew hits the floor right in front of the Dreshkin as the Dreshkin dodges out of the way. I'm going to say that I'm not going to ask everybody here to save against the Grothlet's piteous moan, if that's okay. If we could fast forward through those saves. I forgot to have anybody do the save for it this round, so we're going to start on round 2.
Well, I guess it's slowed, so it hasn't thought to moan yet.
It hasn't thought to moan. But it does have one more action, though.
It does. And so then it sort of feebly swipes out to its right to the south at the Dreshkin that's down there. That's a 9. Is that going to hit?
As this Grothlet barfs and swings, the Zebub shouts out,
What are you doing? No, this is going so badly!
and we'll pick up from there. Next time.
Aww. It's having so much fun.
Roots of Ruin is a Tabletop Gold production produced under the Paizo Incorporated Community Use Policy, using trademarks and copyrights owned by Paizo that are covered under that policy. Paizo does not recognize, endorse, or sponsor this project in any way, and we are expressly prohibited from charging you to use or access this content. For more information about Paizo Inc. and Paizo products, visit paizo.com. All original characters and content in the Roots of Ruin are the property of Tabletop Gold, and all rights are reserved. We at Tabletop Gold would love to hear from you. On our website, tabletopgold.com, you can learn more about us and our shows, pick up great merch, and connect to the best online community in all of podcasting. Thanks for listening.